So Pete Hegseth is a coward who hides behind the flag, his counterfeit religion, his misunderstanding of the Constitution or contempt for the Constitution. He's a coward. He's just a frightened little boy who drinks. He wages war on the media, doesn't want to be asked questions. He has banned the media from the halls of the Pentagon. Reporters are forbidden from talking to any Pentagon official without an escort. I don't know why prostitutes have to be brought in. I don't know why they're hiring escorts at the Pentagon. Oh, it's a different type of escort. Well, here is Pete Hegseth last week calling reporters unpatriotic.
Well, we're always on the lookout for CI threats, any internal threats, anyone talking out of school about things they should not. We take leaking very seriously here, informally or formally, which is why some of the reporting done by some of the people in here is incredibly problematic. They're willing to publish things based on classified information that would potentially harm those in harm's way. And we think them doing so is incredibly irresponsible and unpatriotic. And I would encourage members of the press to think twice about the lives they're affecting when they publish things in their publications like the New York Times.
Think twice about the lives you're affecting, like me, Pete Hegseth. Because when you report on my incompetence, you're affecting my life. But he doesn't say that. He just says, it's the troops. You're hurting the troops. But when they report on his incompetence killing our troops, that's unpatriotic, right? That's unpatriotic. Well, Hegseth, and you notice the George W. Bush mannerisms? Hegseth was referring partly to a report by CBS about American soldiers dying at Port, I'm mispronouncing this, Shoaiba. It's a major port in southern Kuwait. It's about 50 miles from Kuwait City. I'm not pronouncing it properly, but on March 1st of this year, it was the day after Trump began bombing Iran, the Iranians launched a one-way suicide drone towards a tactical operations center in the port of Shuaiba, and it killed 6 U.S. Army Reserve soldiers, injuring more than 30. And CBS broke the story that the soldiers were placed on an X too close to the Iranian border, too vulnerable. Their air defense systems failed, and there were no warning sirens that were activated before the impact. And we've talked about this on the show. There were no medics, no ambulances. The injured soldiers had to commandeer civilian automobiles to drive to a hospital. It was a disaster. So he had to answer for this during the House hearings on Wednesday. Congressman Pat Ryan, a Democrat from New York, wanted answers on this drone attack at Port Shuaiba in Kuwait and wanted to know why you sent our troops to what was referred to as an indefensible base. Hegseth accused Congressman Ryan of playing gotcha and monologuing falsehoods, unquote, monologuing falsehoods. One little problem with this. Congressman Pat Ryan, Democrat from New York, 18th Congressional District, is a combat veteran, served with the Army from 2004 to 2009. He was a captain, intelligence officer. He graduated from the United States Military Academy at West Point, and he did 2 combat tours in Iraq. He was deployed to Mosul in 2008 during the height of the insurgency. He has 2 Bronze Star medals, an Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, And you can see Pete Hegseth crumbling, withering underneath the questioning of Congressman Pat Ryan. Watch the defense chief turn into a frightened little boy, which he is. Hegseth is a frightened little boy. That's why he has to talk tough. That's why he's an alcoholic, or is allegedly an alcoholic. That's why he has belongs to some bizarre religious cult. He's a frightened little boy. An abusive man. Abusive men are frightened little boys. Here is the withering cross-examination from Congressman Pat Ryan.
Before the war started, there was clear intelligence that Shuaibah was high on Iran's target list. Internal analysis had said the site was indefensible from aerial attack and should not be used. Yet you sent our soldiers from the 103rd Sustainment Command there anyway. Is that true or false? True or false? Straightforward question.
Are you going to give me a chance to answer or just play gotcha?
Did you send them there or not?
We took proactive
I'll
measures
take that
from the
as a yes
beginning to
and
ensure
reclaim my
force
time.
protection and defensive
Now,
posture were
let's talk,
maximized
Mr.
across
Secretary,
the theater.
Let's talk about what defenses they had. Prior to the attack, officers on the ground knew our troops were vulnerable. In fact, they requested additional force protection. Did they receive it?
Wherever humanly possible, force
They did
protection
not.
and counter
I'll
UAS
save you
was
the
always
time.
made available.
They did not. In fact, when asked to describe the base's defense, one survivor who's come forward from the unit said, quote, I would put it in the none category. From a drone defense capability, none. So let's be clear, no counter drone capabilities, no counter rocket systems, no counter mortar or counter artillery, not even the basic overhead protection that you and I had 20 years ago in Iraq. And now 6 of our soldiers are dead. The next day, you downplayed the attack. You said it was a squirter that squeaked through fortified defenses. But since then, thankfully, brave survivors have come forward to set the record straight. One of our surviving soldiers told CBS, quote, painting a picture that one squeaked through is a falsehood. Another said the unit was, quote, unprepared to provide any defense for itself. It was not a fortified position. Another survivor said the building's protection was about as weak as one gets. Secretary Hegseth, that is obviously in direct contradiction to what you said from the Pentagon podium the next day. So are you saying that these soldiers, our soldiers who survived this horrific attack, are lying?
What I'm saying is before the commencement of the conflict, we put in maximum defensive posture we could.
That's a direct
We
contradiction
moved
to
70
what they said.
in this directing. Can I speak, or are you just going to monologue falsehoods all over the place?
It's not a falsehood.
We moved 7,500 troops off of
Reclaiming
the X
my
based
time.
on the intel.
Stop.
Based on the intel.
Stop. Reclaiming my time.
Because you yell doesn't make you right.
Calling?
Just because you yell doesn't
I'm
make you right.
reclaiming my time on behalf of these survivors.
Just because you yell doesn't mean you're right. How many kids have said that to authority figures? Just because you yell at me doesn't mean you're right. Frightened little man, Pete Hegseth. Now, 3 marriages, accused, I don't know if it's true, but there's something going on with his manhood that he has to, he's a frightened little man, is what he is. And he's typical. This is Congressman Pat Ryan, and Hegseth knows he's outmanned here. And watch Hegseth's body language.
It's not a falsehood.
We moved 7,500 troops off of
Reclaiming
the X
my
based
time.
on the intel.
Stop.
Based on the intel.
Stop. Reclaiming my time.
Because you yell doesn't
Are
make you right.
calling?
Just because you yell doesn't
I'm
make you right.
reclaiming my time on behalf of these survivors. You just said what they said is a falsehood.
There's a much larger
that
picture.
true?
There's a much larger picture at play here that included integrated air defenses, bunkers, moving people off
Then
the
why,
X
Mr.
to
Secretary,
ensure
are
that they
they
were
dead?
not part of the target. We moved those troops and all across the theater, thousands of troops off the X, off of their bases, because we knew what Iran was going to try to strike, and we knew there could
no
be a
answer.
tragic moment.
No
there could be a
answer, Mr.
tragic moment
Secretary.
where something
Again.
could get through. Of
Again,
course, that's the
I'm
consequence of
reclaiming my
conflict,
time.
and we
Again.
remember those 6 every single day.
I wanna
But
finish-
don't play games with.
I'm not playing games.
Raising
I
your
want to
voice
finish
and
with
pointing
one more
fingers.
quote from a survivor of the attack, and I put this on the record. Telling the truth is important, and we're not going to learn from these mistakes if we pretend these mistakes didn't happen. Secretary Hegseth, those soldiers told the truth. Those soldiers are braver than you are.
I commend
They
them.
are asking for accountability. They deserve accountability, and I'm asking for the same, starting with you. And as I said a year ago, you need to resign immediately.
I commend those
And I
soldiers.
yield back.
So Hegseth is a fascist and a war criminal. And while that was withering, you cannot humiliate or get through to a fascist war criminal. All you can do is arrest them. He should be arrested. There are laws on the book. The War Crimes Act of 1996 here in the United States. Pete Hegseth is not just a fascist, he's a war criminal, and he should be arrested. Nobody's going to humiliate him. He's wrapped in his own self-assuredness, his own religious purity. He's a fascist, theological fascist, and a war criminal. That's a fact. I'm not calling for him to be hurt physically. I'm calling for our government to enforce laws that are on the books, the War Crimes Act of 1996, and arrest this man. That's all I'm asking. Don't want to see him hurt. Don't want to see his family hurt. Just want him arrested for war crimes. That's all I want.